Who's someone that you look up to, right? Like who's a role model? Maybe they're 10 years ahead of you. Maybe they're 20 years ahead of you. Chances are we've got one, two, or a handful of those folks. As we were chatting, we were like, well, hey, why don't we just get together and make the list of those people? And then we could kind of look at who do you value and why, and let's try reaching out to them.
There's definitely a lot of just really cool people that I would love to reach out to. I would love to be connected with. I would love to have them be my mentor, but I'm just probably not going to go out and do it by myself because it's just not the top thing on the priority list. There's not really a system of accountability in my life that's going to make me do this. We're all going to go try something, kind of some crazy stuff, and we're going to see what happens, have a ton of fun doing it, and just learn a lot through doing it. So that's really the idea. Here, let me just kick off some introductions. Ready, set, go, Parker.
I started a podcast a couple months back focused around leadership and personal growth. Kind of coincided with Thomas's new project, Share Your Why. So I'm excited to hear more and be a part of it.
So my name is Eric Breaker, and I'm assuming most of you are in the North Carolina area. I go to school up in kind of central Pennsylvania, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm pumped to be a part of this.
I'm really just trying to find out the why and my purpose, and I'm just looking forward to learning more about entrepreneurship.
I'm Jayshree, and I am founder of a startup called Soul, graduated from NC State this past May. Really cool to meet y'all. Funny how this all came together.
So my name is Kurosh. I'm a sophomore majoring in chemistry, and I just like to connect with other people.
I run a nonprofit in the Raleigh area that mentors boys, and really interested in this idea of why and meaning and purpose and mentoring. So excited to be here.
What are the things that are holding you back from talking to those people and just reaching out to them?
I would say one of the big things is just the separation between where you're at and where they're at, because I don't have value to bring in return, that it's not even worth reaching out. I think that's a big one for me.
The stress, you're trying to live up to their expectation.
The fear of rejection.
Not knowing what to ask.
What are some reasons to reach out?
Everyone has something to teach you. And if you take that posture to life, you will learn a lot.
Just having dedication to hey, I'm going to reach out to these 5 or 10 people. I'm going to give it a shot. And even if nothing comes from it, I know that I will have learned something through going through that process, right? So recognizing that success and failure are two sides of the same coin, and I may as well throw that coin.
The biggest one, learning and growth from someone who is ahead of you and or where you want to be.
What does your ideal dream connection look like?
Similar values, like integrity, compassion, creativity.
Somebody that I admire, of course. And then someone that's also overcome major setbacks, but then they're able to overcome that and then keep going. I think that's really important too.
So I run mostly with content creators and YouTubers, and also some people that are more into how to become more productive and get your shit together, basically.
We'll go around and make some commitments between now and next time we meet, and then we'll kind of report back on these calls. My commitment is just going to be to finding the emails for these people, go and find somebody else at that company, and then kind of infer first name dot last name or whatever. And then I'm going to try and send out 10 before we meet next week.
Then the first 5 emails, I think, is definitely a commitment I can make before next time we meet.
My commitment for the next week was to find out all of their info that they don't have already, and also put a final draft of an email or a message that I was going to shoot to them through social media.
Just really appreciate everybody joining today and contributing, and I just want to have a ton of fun with this, and it's going to be really cool to start to share some of the wins when we meet next week. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back. Dream Connections Part 2.
I'm actually surprised about how I was able to find some of these contacts for these $1 million, billion people. I honestly just want to kind of figure out how to really format individualized emails to each one of them, because I have people ranging from all different sectors.
So I wanted to reach out to the founder of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, and relevant to the startup I'm working on. So that's what I want to do. I found his email using Clearbit, the Gmail plugin. You can put in a company name, and then it'll give you a list of certified emails that they've checked.
I did get emails out to all 5 of these people, and 4 of them actually already got back.
My commitment was to find emails and send out at least 10 to 10 people. And so I cut it down to my top 10. So Elon Musk, Yes Theory, Jess Epstrom, Alex Banayan. There were 2 people that I found who I had connections with on LinkedIn. Does everybody know how to do the thing where you can find out like what shared connections you have? Okay, Gary V, right? So apparently I actually have some sort of second connection with Gary. So look, it'll show up as second instead of third. And then you go to for mutual connections right here. Anyway, so then I could, for example, I could just reach out to Gary and be like, hey, any chance you could introduce me to Gary V because you're connected to him?
When they see one of these emails pop up, I mean, it might be a little bit longer than like they would sort of hope for. Maybe like if there's a way to sort of condense it.
Yeah, ideally I'd like to get this down to like be able to say like, hey, this only takes 30 seconds to read. You know?
You could definitely do that. You can still have that like same impact with like one paragraph.
Cool. Well, I think we've got some awesome tips here. Why don't we head through and just do some commitments here, Jayshree, so you're up. So before we meet next week, what do you want to try and get done, commit to?
I can definitely send out an email to our buddy Brian. I also want to send a handwritten letter because I've heard so many cool things about that and I haven't.
Initial contact with 2 or 3 of the reach connections.
Yeah, so I want to try sending out 3 emails this week, and then I want to also try and do some research on these people.
Good stuff, everybody. Thanks so much for joining, and we will catch you again next week.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
I reached out to Simon Sinek, Tim Cook, and Greta Thunberg, and those are all pretty big names, and I just felt like that I could just go for it and try to reach out.
Struggling to know where to start that's going to really be effective. So that's why I had been hesitating, because no one had done it at all yet. So I was just curious to hear if anyone with those bigger name lists had used one yet.
Having a pipeline, right? It's not putting all your eggs in one basket, but it's more like, hey, if I reach out to 10 of them, chances are one of them might say yes, right?
We sent him a handwritten note, and I think one really big piece about it that encouraged him to respond, and he ended up responding and giving us his phone number, is we put in a few physical pictures. Adding some images not only makes it even more unique than just a handwritten letter, but it adds, just another level of realism and showing who you are. So I feel like that could be an effective way to maybe tie something into the message so that picture makes sense. I think it's always powerful to tie a face with a name or the message.
If we don't get a response back, just still have your head up and, sort of move on and don't just dwell on that.
We're here for the finale of our Dream Connections time together. The progress we've all been able to make, it's been really cool to see. So I'm excited to round it out. Let's do it.
5 people that I thought are entrepreneurs in dentistry, which was something unique and something that I'm interested in.
For this week, I was focusing on the handwritten notes. And I was actually doing some research, and it's interesting because I found out that you have a better chance of getting responded back to if you put in a prepaid envelope inside the letter. You already have your address on the envelope, and then they just send it back. So it's really easy.
Here we go. Here's Simon Sinek, where it says, oh shoot, he's opened it 5 times.
Wait, what?
Okay, cool. I only sent this 3 hours ago. Simon's already opened 5 times. That's hype. I submitted a contact form for Alex Baniam with the 3rd Door book. Submitted one for Guy Raz. Okay, Guy Raz has opened his twice. Okay, Yes Theory opened theirs right after the minute that I sent it. So anyway, I'm super excited about that. We'll see what happens, but it's been a cool culmination for me just going through this entire journey. Just so you guys know, I would never have considered reaching out to these people before, but it's just by having you guys here holding me accountable and setting that commitment last week. I was even today at noon, I was like, dang, okay, I gotta just send it. It's not gonna be perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. Parker knows about how I struggle with that. But it's just, you just gotta send it. So I'm super excited to have them out there, and I'll definitely keep you all updated on what people say.
And that's awesome that all of them have gotten open multiple times now.
I really appreciate you being part of this experiment. It's a total experiment. I have a feeling it's really gonna go the distance, and it's really gonna impact everything we're trying to do with Share Your Why and impact a lot of people. Just imagine a future where we have 30, 40, 50 people signing up for these things, and we can run multiple at a time, and I can have other people moderating, and have some breakout rooms and stuff. And I'd so much rather have 20 people showing up to a couple of Zooms than I'd have 20,000 people watching content. I'd so much rather have those interactive, engaging experiences where people are actually making differences in their lives and seeing themselves do it. I really appreciate you all being a part of the journey.
Thank you so much. It's so fun.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having us for this first one. That's awesome. We can say we were here on meeting 1.